Welcome to another episode of the Bamature Hour. I'm Bama John. In this episode, we're going to provide an instant reaction to Alabama's loss to Purdue tonight, 87-80. Today is Thursday, November 13th, 2025, in the year of our Lord. Thank you for tuning in. We now have over 6,200 subscribers to the YouTube channel and still growing. We're headed to 10,000 subscribers. If you're tuning in to the YouTube channel and you're watching us, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notify button. If you're accessing us on the various podcast channels, iHeart, Apple, Spotify, RSS, and the like, please like, follow, and subscribe. All right, that was a tough loss, guys. Tough loss tonight. Game was tied at 80 all with a minute 36 left when Houston Mallette hit a three to tie the game up. But Braden Smith really showed his brilliance in the second half, and he really showed his brilliance in that last minute 30 as he controlled the game and made the plays that allowed Purdue to get out of there and get a win. After we scored to tie it up at 80 all, Braden Smith goes down, runs a pick and roll, ends up on Tyler Ball Bowen. Just goes to the rack and scores two. He's up two. Philon comes back down, Philon, who did not have a great game. He gets fouled and he misses the front end of the 1-and-1. So at this point, Purdue's up two. Alabama had a chance to tie it. Philon misses the free throw. Got to make those free throws, guys. Smith goes down again, gets in the pick and roll again, gets Tyler Ball Bowen again, sloughed off on him, and is able to get the foul drawn as he goes to the basket and gets fouled. He makes both free throws. Purdue's now up 84-80 with 47 seconds left. And then Purdue makes the plays the rest of the way as they go on a 7-0 run to close out Bama and win. After that possession where Braden Smith scores two free throws to put them up 84-80. Tyler Ball Bowen goes down the other end, jacks up a three, misses it. Purdue gets the rebound, and they make the plays to win. So close game. Alabama had their opportunities. Purdue was just better in crunch time. They were better on the boards. They got fouled more. They made more free throws. And Braden Smith was brilliant in the second half, and Alabama really didn't control him like I'd hoped they would. All right, here's what happened scoring-wise in the game. Holloway led Bama with 31 points, had 3 assists and 1 turnover. Holloway was very effective, but he really disappeared in the last 5 minutes of the game. And at crunch time, we really didn't run the offense well, and Holloway wasn't able, who's having a great night, but just wasn't able to make any plays there when we needed him when it was tied at 80 all to help push us over the edge and score. TBB, Taylor Ball Bowen, had 13 points, but he only had 2 rebounds. And in those pick and roll switches, when he was on Braden Smith, I'd hoped that he was going to be able to use his length and his athleticism to not let Smith get a shot off and score and also not foul. But he just showed his inexperience there as Braden Smith, who's a very crafty guard, scored over him the first time in the pick and roll and then got the foul, made the 2 free throws, and then Taylor Ball Bowen went down the other end, jacked up a 3. I wish we had worked for a better shot at that point, and instead of jacking a 3, let's just get the best shot we can, get a good open mid-range shot, do something, but we didn't do it. So Taylor Ball Bowen played okay, not great, but 2 rebounds. He's got to do better than that. Sherrell had 12 points and 4 rebounds. He was fighting hard, but again, those bigs, and Purdue is really big in the post. We just struggle with that. Philon had a bad game. He had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, but he also had 4 turnovers. And when I say he had a bad game, I'm expecting 20 points a game out of Philon. He did get double digits, but didn't shoot the ball well, had some turnovers, and just wasn't able to score effectively as Purdue's length and athleticism and just craftiness really bothered him, even though he was quicker than both Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. He just wasn't able to score easily tonight. Houston Mallette had 9 points, 2 rebounds. And then Wrightsell also had a bad game as he only had 6 points and he shot 2 for 9 from the field. So the guards that were really clutch against St. John's, only Holloway showed up tonight. So far, he's been big in every game. Philon, was 12 points under what he was averaging coming into this game. But last year, when Philon had a bad game, instead of scoring 11 points, he'd have 4 points, 5 points. So if he can hit double digits every night out, I'm expecting him to get 20 plus points most nights. But this wasn't his best game. He struggled, and I think their length really got to Philon as he was not able to score easily because they did have the big tall guys in the post that could disrupt Philon as he drove to the basket. And he just wasn't pulling up at the mid-range and getting those shots off like like I would hope he had done. Okay, story of this game. Purdue out-rebounded Alabama 48-23. That's unbelievable. Basically, they had twice as many rebounds as Alabama did. They killed us on the boards. We have got to be better. We've been out-rebounded by St. John's. We're out-rebounded here. We've got to be better on the boards. And then also Purdue made 16 of 23 free throws. Alabama only shot 10 free throws. So they made 6 more free throws than we shot. And we're 8 for 10, so we shot 80%, but we didn't draw fouls. We didn't get to the free throw line. They did. They out-rebounded us, and they powered their way to the basket, and they made free throws. So really, they had a dominant inside presence coupled with Braden Smith's strong second half where he had 19 points was the difference. But again, it was tied at 80 all with a minute 30 to go. It was anybody's game, but they got it. They made the plays they needed to down the stretch to win the game. Points in the paint. Purdue had 34 points in the paint to our 26. But Purdue made 8 more free throws than we did, and they out-rebounded us 48-23. Those were the difference in the game. I mean, flat out. And then Alabama didn't shoot well overall. And in crunch time, Purdue executed in the half court. They were able to get key buckets. They were able to score at all 3 levels. When they needed a bucket, they were able to get to the free throw line or they were able to score. One thing that I noticed was that Braden Smith was much more effective on the pick and roll going right than he was left. I didn't think Alabama took that drive away from him and hedged enough or forced him left. And although he could score going left, and he did have some baskets, he missed more shots when he was forced left. And if you're going to play Purdue, you cannot let Braden Smith get to his right on the pick and roll or he will dice you up. And that's exactly what he did. Hats off to Braden Smith. In the first half, Kaufman ran. I believe he had 19 points, and he was dicing us up and had like 7 or 8 rebounds, and he had a strong first half. And Braden Smith had 9 points in the first half, but came out and scored 19 for a total of 28 as they really did hurt us. So let's talk about Bama did not defend well at the end of the game. We didn't handle the pick and roll well. We committed fouls. We let them score. And then on the other end, we were not able to execute like we needed to get crucial baskets in that last minute 30. So credit to Bama because we were down 79-71 with 5 minutes to go in the game. And Bama goes on a 9-1 run in 3 minutes and 30 seconds to tie the game at 80 all. But then Purdue made the plays thereafter as they went on a 7-0 run to close us out. Overall for Purdue, Braden Smith had 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Guys, 7 rebounds. They were all rebounding the ball. Purdue sent 5 guys to the board. They blocked out. Yes, they had height, they had length, they had athleticism, but they were also, everybody was committed to going to the boards, blocking somebody out, and getting a rebound, and that's shown by the fact that Braden Smith had 7 rebounds. Kaufman Wren had 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 4 assists. That's incredible. 15 rebounds. And he had 5 assists. And he was very effective at passing the ball at the interior to both Cuff and to Jacobson. and they really burned us on that interior play. Clough had 9 points and 11 rebounds. He was the 6'11" post that started, and just gave us trouble. He was effective in the post when he got the ball down low, using his left hand and his right hand on short hooks, scored effectively. And then the 7'4" Dan Jacobson had 9 points and 5 rebounds, as their big men dominated our big men, and Purdue really boarded well. That's a really good team. That was a championship level game, and I think that Alabama played well. Good news about basketball is it's a long season. No one loss kills your season. We found out a lot about ourselves tonight. We can play with that team. We can play with anybody, but we're going to have to rebound the ball better. We're going to have to be a little bit stronger on defense, and we're also going to have to be more committed. I thought our offense got stagnant at times, and some of it was due to a matchup zone they were playing and the way they defended us. But I thought there was too much stagnation. I thought we moved the ball really, really well against St. John's, and I thought our offense was more stagnant in this game. And I also thought we're going to have to take those open mid-ranges when we get them. When we go up against teams with big guys like they had with Kaufman, Wren, with Clough, and with Jacobson, we're going to have to take the shots we can get in the mid-range instead of taking the ball to the basket and getting the shot blocked or missing shots at the rim. And I love taking the open threes. I don't want to force threes. So we got to take the best shot we can get to the foul line more, but given their height advantage, sometimes it's hard to get fouled and get to the free throw line, but we didn't do that very well. So anyway, that's my instant reaction to the game. I think Bama's really good. It's still all in front of them. We've got to do the little things at the end of the game. It was a narrow margin in that we're tied at 80 all with 1:30 left in the game. We had our chances to win it, down 82-80. LeBaron Philon misses the front end of a 1-1. We got to make those plays. Those are the winning plays that we got to make. We've got a really good team. We've got a good coach, but we've got to get better on a few things if we want to cut the nets down and win a national championship. I think Nate Oates' goal is to do that. I think this team's talented. I think they can compete with anybody, but we've seen what the margin is and kind of where we felt short against the top level team. Purdue is a national championship caliber team. They've got a senior laden team. They've got upperclassmen. They've got height. They've got length. They've got good athleticism. I think we're faster than they are, but they held up well. We weren't able to turn them over like I hoped we would. We did a couple of times, but they held up well. They're very smart. They're very disciplined. They execute well. They don't get flustered. And we did get the game into the 80s, but we didn't get into the 90s. But they were really able to control the pace in the second half, and particularly in the last 2 minutes of the game when they needed to. So we see what we need to do if we want to make a Final Four, if we want to win the SEC, if we want to win a national championship. We're going to have to be better. We're going to have to be better on the boards. We're going to everybody's going to have to go to the boards on the defensive end and block somebody out and get the ball. There were multiple times where they got rebounds because guys were running free and no one put a body on them to put a man between the body and the basket. And the only way that you consistently rebound is when 5 guys are blocking out and making sure there's a body between a player and the basketball, and then you're more likely to do that. Purdue does a great job at rebounding and doing that. We're not elite at that yet. So hopefully Nate will. And then again, the out of bounds plays drove me crazy. So we've got to get more. I don't know how many times I thought we were going to get a 5-second call. Fortunately, we didn't, which I was surprised. But anyway, I'm still excited about this Alabama team. I think they can make the NCAA tournament no problem. I think we can be a top 4 seed, hopefully a 2 or 3 seed. We had a chance to get ranked number 1 if we could have beaten Purdue tonight, but they got us. So we'll probably stay in the top 15. probably drop out of the top 10, but let's see. Let's see how we end up ranked after the rankings come out next week. And then next up for Alabama, they go to Chicago and they play a very good Illinois team on Wednesday, November 19th. Another great test for this team. We've had 2 great tests so far, and we're 1-1 in those 2 big games. Went to New York, beat St. John's, came home, lost to Purdue. Let's take another road trip. Let's go up to Chicago. Let's get the win over Illinois and keep this team, get the momentum back and keep the team moving in the right direction. Okay, that's it. That's my instant reaction for the Alabama loss to Purdue. Very fun game to watch, very competitive. We've got a really good team. We can be great, but we've seen a few things that we're going to have to improve on if we want to get where we want to go, which is get to the Final Four and try to win a national championship. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, follow, hit the notify button for the podcast wherever you stream us. God bless and roll Tide.